Good morning, Fayette-Nam! Breaking news. All right, let's get after it this morning. This newspaper is thick. Oh, man. Anyway, we are reading the Fayette Advertiser this morning. Welcome to the weekly Fayette-Nam news. I'm your host, Landon Ball. And disclaimer, I'm not a journalist. So diving right in here, this paper is thick because we've got sports. Justin has been busy. Justin does a good job on this paper. Just a reminder, if you want to subscribe to this paper, figure it out. You can probably Google it. But certainly you can get it. I would encourage you, some of you actually needed to tangibly touch something real besides your phone. So I would encourage you, subscribe to a physical newspaper. It just feels great in your hands. It doubles well as wrapping paper later on, and scrapbooking and things like that, because there's a lot of stuff in here that is scrapbook worthy. So starting with finally the ribbon cutting for Lafayette on the square, which, by the way, is a total vibe. I will continue to speak like a Gen Zer there, but it is a vibe in there. The food is good. I need to try something different besides the hen from Louisiana. But man, I am, as y'all know, I am a sucker for a good chicken sandwich. Just ask Chick-fil-A. Your boy's a red member. I don't know if there's a tier above red, but I am a red member. Lafayette on the square is open. Just a reminder, Wednesdays through Saturdays is when they're open. Lunch is from 11 to 2. Dinner from 4:30 to 8. Wednesdays and Thursdays, 4 and 9 on Friday. So if that didn't make any sense, Cody will edit that to try to make it look better. We've got enrollment steady at county public schools. That's great. We've got a big old FHS Class of 1995 reunion planned for homecoming weekend, which if you're in that 1995 class, that's when I was born. So I hope you feel really old. The FHS Athletics Gala raised $15,000. That is awesome. They had their second annual Black and Gold Gala, packed the St. Joseph Church Hall on Saturday night this past week, and brought in about 15,000. Nearly 90 items were auctioned for around 12,000. So that is an awesome deal. I did see some pictures of the Powder Puff football game. Sounds like that's a new tradition, which is fun. I'm gonna shout out my mom. She got 10 years at CMU, and they're recognizing their faculty milestones in here. But my mom has been at CMU for 10 years. I remember when she got started over there. I feel like it might be closer to 11 too at this point, but that was when I was in college. She got going and I got going to Central Methodist. But 35 years at CMU is Marianne Roostemeyer. I hope I say that last name right. Associate Professor of English and Mathematics. 30 years, Chad Gaines. 25 years, Dr. John Porter. He was my professor in English, I remember. Funny guy. 20 years, Angela Cornelius and David Gorton. 15 years is Shelley Monig and Bill Sheehan. And Jeff Williams, Jerry Carter, Dr. Hatwalker, Amy Royston. So congrats on 15 years. 10 years, Brad Dixon. And the list gets long from here. And then they've got a lot more that have made it 5 years. So good for you, CMU, for getting some tenure in there. That's excellent. And shout out to Mom. Love you, Mom. Thanks for working there because it helped me get through school for sure. The Fayette School's breakfast this week is looking a little heftier. Let's see here. Tuesdays is biscuit and gravy. Wednesday is sausage biscuit. Thursday's pancake and sausage. Friday, you get a cream cheese bagel. The weather is great these days. This week in the paper, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 different churches you could go to.
Damn. I'm sorry.
In this newspaper. Is that down from last week or did I miscount? I probably miscounted last week. All right. And now to the thick part of the paper as well. Sports are back. We've got the full roster of the softball team here on the front page, getting ready to get after hopefully their 7th straight winning season. We've got Bree Busker coaching the team as well with Rachel England and Melissa Felton. Super excited for you guys. Good luck. Your roster is almost as big as this football team as well. They are getting kicked off this Friday night. I think it's at home versus Carrollton. Again, it's probably, when I talk to Cole, it's not too late to go out if you're looking at doing this, but I think it looks like there's 24 young men out for this football team. Big old freshman class, which is exciting to see. So go out and support your local football. It is perfect perfect football weather these days. So get out and enjoy that. And then this past weekend, we had a strong turnout for the Optimist Cornhole fundraiser. I'm not sure how much it raised, but 40 teams competed for cash prizes. It looked like that was a good turnout on the square as well. We've got some upcoming events that I'm going to read to you before we kick it to Unpopular Opinion with Cassie. As always, the Howard County Public Library's got Toddler time on Thursdays at 10 a.m. Friday night, again, football game. Saturday, Howard County Progressives potluck and discussion. Monday's Labor Day. It does look like there's a section here. Multiple accidents keep the sheriff's duty busy. So folks, drive safe, stay off your phone. I don't know anything about those specific accidents, but every day I drive to this town and I read other people's Facebook through the front of their dash for how clearly they're reading on their phone. All right, let's kick it over to Cassie for Unpopular Opinion.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to week 3 of Unpopular Opinions. Right now, my Facebook feed is just blowing up with, oh my gosh, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are engaged. Congratulations to them. No hate. I honestly don't have an opinion one way or the other, and that's not what today is about. But on my Facebook feed, I've also seen some things that take me back to a story of something that happened when I was a young adult. I remember my grandpa and I used to call each other and talk a lot, and he was telling me that the couple across the street had a young lady in their family with Angelman's disease, and she required a special walker in order to get around. And this walker was not covered by insurance, unfortunately. And the family had come together and was trying to think of ways that they could afford to buy this walker for her. And essentially they ended up asking my grandpa for a couple $1,000s and gave it to them. It's his money, his to do. The sad part is about 2 to 3 days later, in their driveway, pulled in a new Hummer. So these people had held their hand out, asked for help financially to be able to help their niece, and then went and bought a new Hummer. I know you can do with your money as you please. Not saying you shouldn't. I also know that people sometimes face hard times, can't afford what I would consider expected life events, like the fact that your car needs an oil change and will probably need new tires every once in a while. But my problem lies in the fact that people are so apt to ask for help, but then blow their money on something that's not a necessity within a short time frame after asking for help, and have the audacity to brag about it, and are okay with the fact that it's basically a slap in the face to the people who are willing to dip into what would have been their new car fund, a new backyard pool fund, or maybe their emergency fund for life events that may have been expected or unexpected. So if you're one of those people who's constantly talking about how you just can't afford things, you need help, and then you go and post about, oh, I got Taylor Swift concert tickets, I got them, I'm so excited, my purchase went through. Yeah, I don't feel sorry for you, and I'm not going to help you in the future. Please think about the fact that people are willing to go out of the way to make sure that your life is easier by helping you when you go and do something that's just frivolous. Back to you, Landon.
That goes right in line with what she said last week of very similar, where you ask a small business for a discount and then pay full price for them Taylor Swift tickets. Speaking of, did you see the rock on that? Did you see that rock? Huh. That is what your full price tickets went to. Taylor Swift got engaged to some dude. I haven't really heard of him much, but Taylor Swift finally got engaged. I can't wait. Just kidding. I really don't care, but at the same time, I ain't throwing shade because 1, she ain't gonna see the shade. 2, I gotta tell you folks, the more you hate people like that, the more money it makes them. If you really want to harm somebody like that, don't engage. Similar to, if you don't like this news segment, that's fine. Just shut the computer. This isn't a public service. I do this on my own time for funsies. So anyway, all that to say, T Swift got engaged. Congrats, T Swift. I'm excited to see whatever song she writes from that because I do think she's a very good songwriter. And if you don't think she's a good songwriter, big deal. You're allowed to think whatever you think. I don't care. But anyway, T Swizzle got engaged to some guy in the NFL. So congrats to them. That rock was thick and very clear. If you're talking about color, cut, clarity, and the other C that I can't remember, what is it? Carrot. Color, cut, clarity, and carrot. I'm sure that had to be forged. No, don't say it. Anyway, congrats, T Swift. On more non-local news, Cracker Barrel's catching some heat. Well-deserved, by the way, because I think when people try to change their logo, which, by the way, I'm okay with people changing their logo. I just don't know why. It wasn't, I don't know. And again, let's go back to, I don't care. What I am worried about is if y'all cancel Cracker Barrel for changing the logo and I don't get my frosty chocolate milk in the mug. That is one of my few good memories that I had as a child with my dad. We would, I think, Logan, you'd have to clean me up. Once or twice a month at least, and Lane, you can clean me up too. We would go to breakfast with my dad at Cracker Barrel, and we would ask for chocolate milk in the frosty mugs, but we wouldn't be allowed to have it until we got our food, because if it came before our food, we would chug it, and then we would be sad. So Cracker Barrel's got the best pancakes on the planet. Cracker Barrel's like my favorite place to go after we win a softball tournament. Please don't shut down Cracker Barrel over a logo. All right, now to my next segment where I read local Fayette news on the Fayette News Exchange on Facebook. I have noticed this Facebook page has cleaned up a bit since I started reading off y'all's posts. So I usually will try not to embarrass whoever is posting this, but just remember you are posting to a very public Facebook page. But the Fayette Senior Center just posted their menu for August 28th, which is today. Pork fritter, black beans, cucumber and tomato salad, a biscuit and fruit. Very good. Heather Overstreet, just want to give a shout out to Heather. She's got Top Dog USA, and Henry, my boy Henry, got groomed there yesterday, and he is looking and smelling fresh. So thanks, Heather. Once again, there are loose dogs. That should just be a weekly segment. There are loose dogs on County Road 403. Somebody wants to know if since Monday is a holiday, are they picking up trash for Monday or Tuesday? That's very important. Apparently some people sell duck eggs in this town. It's awesome. I've never had one. I'm gonna have to try one. Other than that, the Fayette-Nam news is very quiet. Very quiet. Some news that I'm going to break probably before Justin gets it in the paper next week is downtown Fayette did get a new executive director, and I am very excited for that for a lot of reasons. But downtown Fayette is technically a nonprofit organization in the city of Fayette, focused on downtown Fayette, economic development, promotion. I know there's a couple other branches in there, but they're focused on really just making sure our town is healthy while also respecting the history of our town too. They are funded a lot by your tax dollars and the tax dollars that we have to charge on the sales piece of our business. So I am excited to see them moving in what is hopefully a positive direction with Heather Dawson coming on as the new executive director. So I am pumped for that. I had noticed parked in front of the Main Street offices that classic Mizzou and Kansas golf cart, and I was like, what's Jeremy doing in town every day? But there's our answer. So Heather Dawson, congrats to you. I'm super excited. If you want to come on the podcast and talk about what all has happened in your life and what's coming forward, I'd be happy to do that with you. So very exciting news for Fayette there. I did get this flyer dropped off at my office. There is an event coming up, Support for Sylvia Chu. I want to show that to you guys. That's coming up on September 13th. That's from noon to 9, so a big long day there at the Country Club Bar. If you're wondering where the Country Club Bar is, it's where Boondocks was. If you're wondering where Boondocks was, it's where Hogs and Heifers was. And if you're wondering where Hogs and Heifers was, I don't know what it was before. But when I talk to people outside of Fayette, they know it as like the biker bar right at the top of the hill as you're going out of town. But they've got an event where they're just raising money for Sylvia for her cancer battle. Looks like there's a poker run at noon. There are tickets to buy, raffle tickets. There's a 50-50 raffle. There is other types of raffles in there, and there's some food, a pulled pork dinner. Man, I'm so hungry. It's only 9:30, by the way, and I ate a full breakfast and I'm starving. Well, thanks for listening to this week's edition of Weekly Fayette-Nam News. We'll catch you next week.